Okay, get this. This is my first Fantastic Beasts themed video ever since Crimes of Grindelwald was released. What? Welcome back to Neverland, where I can't believe I haven't talked about Fantastic Beasts in months, especially after essentially a year of what was 99% Crimes of Grindelwald coverage. Why did I not review Crimes of Grindelwald on my YouTube channel, you may ask? Or anywhere, really, for that matter. The number one reason, amongst other things, but the number one reason is probably you. Like, not you specifically, but maybe though, yeah, probably you. I really like Crimes of Grindelwald, as in I really, really loved it. Was it brilliantly plotted? Was it well presented for a mass audience? Not necessarily, but I loved all the storylines. I loved the core story revolving around Dumbledore and Credence and Grindelwald. I thought it was brilliant. But for now, let's actually discuss what's going on in the Wizarding World franchise and how Crimes of Grindelwald has been influencing it. Because fact of the matter is, I might have liked it, but that doesn't change the fact that a lot of people went out of the cinema going, what the hell did I just watch? So let's go back to, I want to say, late summer 2018. Warner Brothers was in a really good position with Crimes of Grindelwald, against all odds, may I add, because we still had Potterheads super pissed at J.K. Rowling for, just existing, for Cursed Child, for the way she and Warner Brothers reacted to the backlash against Johnny Depp being cast as Grindelwald. It was a whole thing. The marketing team, I mean, they were absolutely brilliant about this. The way they kind of worked the situation, not ever using Johnny Depp in any of the promo interviews, but only had him appear in character at Comic-Con. That was so clever. So they managed to get people hyped for the film. And then the film was about to be released and the first reviews came in and they were mixed, to say the least, as in Rotten Tomatoes score was rotten almost immediately. That happens sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the fans hate it. But the problem was that people didn't really show up for this film the way they used to for other Wizarding World films. As of now, and that's probably the number we're going to stick with because it's been a while since it's been released. As of now, it's made $650 million at the box office in 2018. And don't get me wrong, that's a pretty respectable number for a blockbuster, but it isn't in terms of the Wizarding World franchise. So the obvious conclusion is changes need to be made for the future. But the thing is, Fantastic Beasts 3 in terms of story was almost, if not completely done. David Yates said throughout the promo for Crimes of Grindelwald that he'd read the script, they were finishing it up. Jude Law and Eddie Redmayne had read it at that point, they knew the title, they talked about it openly, it was a thing. And then Jo announced that she'd finished the script beginning of December. So at that point, less than a month after the release of Crimes of Grindelwald. But the thing is, if large audiences were not able to follow the many storylines in Crimes of Grindelwald, a film that is kind of a setup for the real story, so we're not even in there yet, how are we going to be able to follow the next film? It got very quiet in the following weeks, which obviously it was the holidays, but even so. And then here and there a couple of rumours came up, and a lot of interesting developments happened that if you didn't pay too much attention, they could have easily drowned. But I do. I pay a lot of attention to these things, so let me break them down for you. It all started with J.K. Rowling going completely silent on Twitter, which is very odd because she's been very loud for several years at this point. Then rumours started spreading that Fantastic Beasts 3's release date, which was going to be November 2021, so 2 years apart from the others, it was going to go to another film by Warner Brothers, and sure enough it did. Their film June has it now. And then right after it was revealed that they were going to delay production to autumn 2019 instead of summer 2019. And of course next, super interestingly, and really, really telling, and I can't believe they didn't do anything about this, but Dan Fogler gave an interview and he was asked about, you know, the production delays for Fantastic Beasts 3, and he essentially said the story is so gigantic, it's bigger than Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2 combined, and they want to do it justice. This is a difficult statement because, I mean, it's not like that much happens in Fantastic Beasts 1 or 2, but at the same time, everything happens because there's so many characters we need to follow. Not a lot happens in terms of story, but a lot happens in terms of characters. So the question is, how do these, does he mean story, or does he mean all the characters are going to be doing things and we're going to kind of have to be able to take care of that and put that in a 2.5 hour film that people are going to be able to understand? And then simultaneously, Jo's representation was asked why she hadn't been on Twitter for so long, and essentially they said she's busy writing. And at that point I was like, she is obviously rewriting Fantastic Beasts 3, like, no question. None other than Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara confirmed that and said yes, she was doing that and they want to get it right, and that's why production has been delayed, and this is where we are. And now as fans, we're obviously not quite sure what to expect. Now, what's my take on this? Well, as always, when it comes to the Wizarding World franchise, I have two takes on the situation. That of me as a storyteller and screenwriter, which I am, and that of me as a fan. So as a screenwriter, I 150% approve of what they're doing here. The story might have been good, but if it's not presented in a way that anyone can follow and nobody goes to the cinema and people pay less money, that will result in chaos. Because 16 characters in one film are a lot to keep up with. And especially when you need book knowledge in order to understand who they are, where they're from, what their story is, like background information. And that brings us to a completely different question, which is, what is the canon really for these new films? Is it the Harry Potter films, or is it the Harry Potter books? And obviously as a storyteller and as someone who, you know, wants to be clever about the way they tell stories and the way they access audiences, I want to say, by all means, please use the films, because a lot of people have read the books, but not everyone has. And those who have, it's been a while. So everyone really has the films fresh in their minds. It makes a lot more sense to just base it on the films. You lose a lot of story, but it might make it just a bit more cohesive and coherent. But that very point brings me to my opinion of the whole thing as a fan, which is essentially, please, 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 please use the books as a basis, not the films. Who cares about large audiences? Screw them. Let's put as much in there as we can. Look at all the amazing characters and storylines you have. I want to know as much about them as physically possible. Let's make the film 4 hours long. Or, you know, even better, just give me a book series. It's complicated. And if it's complicated for us as Potterheads and storytellers and casual fans, imagine how complicated it must be for a production team and creative team that has stuck with Harry for the past 10 plus years. I do really appreciate the creative team behind them, and I know all the work that's gone into it and all the thought and all the love, and I think all we can do as of now is sit back and watch the situation and hope for the best and just trust these people. Have you been following the developments around Fantastic Beasts 3? If yes, let me know in the comments what you think. I'd love to know. As always, you can like the video if you liked it, you can subscribe if you want to see more of me in children's entertainment, you can follow me on Instagram for daily content as well as Twitter, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.